Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
And what is up, you guys? The New York Mets have won 2 in a row as they defeat the Colorado Rockies here this afternoon by a final score of 8-2. Their second straight victory. They clinch a series win over the lowly Colorado Rockies, who still don't have double-digit victories on the season. I mean, wow, it is rough for the Rockies right now. Tough to be a Rockies fan, no doubt about it, but not tough to be a Mets fan right now as they are playing some pretty good baseball. They get the win today, 8-2. Kodai Senga with a great performance once again, and he is backed by 3 home runs, one from Jeff McNeil, one from Brandon Nimmo, and one from Juan Soto. And they also get a 3-run triple from Brett Beatty in this one, as the Mets really leave no doubt at all here today. Guys, what's up? I'm Tony Metro. If you guys are new to the channel, I do daily post-game streams. We also do daily Mets content, lots of shorts, and some long-form videos. You guys can check out the most recent long-form video I just put out about Bobby Valentine's journey throughout baseball. Pretty interesting, a lot of twists and turns in that one. I hope you guys enjoyed if you get time to check it out. But overall, really nice to see the Mets come out today, swinging the bats hot. So let's get into it. Kodai Senga on the bump for the Mets, and unfortunately greeted kind of rudely by Ezequiel Tovar. You know, there's not a lot of guys in this Rockies lineup that concern you or worry you all too much. You got McMahon at third base, who's, you know, a professional hitter, a guy that can definitely do some things in the batter's box. Ezequiel Tovar is probably the only other guy you need to be concerned about in this Rockies lineup, and he hits a blast off of Senga with 2 outs to open the scoring in the very first inning. But first, by the way, home run off of Senga's ghost fork this year. Pretty incredible. So the Mets fall down 1-0 immediately, but immediately answer right back in the first inning. Things get started. Back-to-back base hits for Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo, who, by the way, really nicely getting comfortable in that 2-hole in the order for the team. Juan Soto draws a walk. Pete Alonso ended up striking out, but then Brett Beatty just going out to left center field, using all the fields. That is when he's at his best. Hits that one off the top of the wall. Center fielder for the Rockies can't get to it. Doyle, who's a Gold Glover, by the way, it trickles away from him. Brett Beatty ends up all the way on third base with a bases clearing triple. The Mets immediately go up 3-1. They would add another one that inning with 2 outs. Tyrone Taylor hitting a line drive into center field. And then in the 4th inning, the Mets really just broke it open. Same score, still 4-1. They get the 2-run homer from Brandon Nimmo. And then back-to-back, belly-to-belly, in the words of John Sterling. The very next pitch, Juan Soto comes up. Doesn't waste any time. Doesn't take that first pitch strike like we've been seeing so much from him. Launches one into left center field. You could tell as he was in the batter's box, he knew he got all of that one as it just gets out, and the Mets immediately go up to a 7-1 lead. Kodai Senga, absolutely brilliant in those middle innings, ends up retiring 17 straight batters, carried that into the 7th in this one before the Rockies finally got to him. Really great performance from Kodai Senga. I mean, what else can you say about the guy? He has been ridiculous, has a 1.13 earned run average at Citi Field this year. He ends up getting tagged for 2 runs in this one of them coming in the 7th. He had 2 outs that inning, but 2 consecutive walks is where he ended up having his day end. But another amazing starting pitching performance from Kodai Senga. Final line on him, let me just pull that up for us really quick. He ends up going 6 2/3 innings for the Mets. Like I said, had retired. Sorry, it was 6 1/3 innings. So he got 1 out in the 7th before giving up those 2 walks, and then ends up giving up just 2 hits, 2 earned runs, those 2 walks. His season ERA actually rises just a little bit. It's kind of unfair to go 6 1/3 and give up 2 runs and see your season ERA go up, but that's just how great Kodai Senga has been. His season ERA now sitting at 1.60, the lowest among any qualified pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. Not just the National League, but all of Major League Baseball. Max Fried getting roughed up for the Yankees out in LA last night. So Kodai Senga leading the world in earned run average. Super, super impressive. And like we said, this was one of those rocking chair games. I mean, Senga retires 17 consecutive Rockies after the Ezekiel Tovar home run. I mean, you want to talk about ace? That is what an ace does. Just settled into that game. It seems like as soon as the Mets offense broke out, got back on the board and put the Mets out in front, that was it from the jump. He was ready to go. He looked amazing once again in this one. Everyday Mets, what's up, my man? How we doing? Saying a ghost fork was TNT, knock out the Rockies. The bats finally broke out. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, saying is when the ghost fork is ghosting, man, there is no hitting it. It is ridiculous. Really interesting. Today on the broadcast, Gary Cohen mentioned that he added a sinker to his repertoire. He doesn't throw it a whole lot. He's only thrown it about 6% of the time here so far in 2025. But because he had all the other pitches going in different directions and he defined it as like north, south, west, the ghost fork going west, or I guess you would say to the left side of from the pitcher's mound. He wanted a pitch that went the other way in on a righty. So he added that sinker. I mean, this is just a testament of a guy who is over 30 years old, had a very storied career in Japan, comes over to the majors and still wants to get better. Kodai Senga is just such an amazing player to watch. It's super cool to see a guy who doesn't rest on his laurels, doesn't rest on his previous accomplishments, having that career in Japan, has come over to the Mets and been everything we could have ever asked for and probably then some. Obviously, last year was a totally lost season, but super, super happy with Kodai Senga and what he is doing for the Mets so far this year. So again, final line on Senga, he improves to 6-3 with the win, by the way. 6 1/3 innings pitched, just 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and strikes out 7. So a great performance from Senga. And the bats finally broke out in this one. Yes, that's right, everyday Mets. The Mets bats break out in this one. So they had the bases loaded there in the first inning after getting back-to-back hits from Lindor and from Brandon Nimmo. Juan Soto draws a walk. Pete Alonso ends up striking out. Had that count 3-1, but did end up striking out to Sensaleta, who, my gosh, geez, it's rough watching that guy pitch every 5th day. If you're a Rockies fan, my goodness, he was just throwing center cut pitches down the middle, and the Mets were not missing, and they made him wear it. I mean, he was pitching into that 4th inning, even after giving up the back-to-back bombs. They had the pitching coach go out there, and I'm like, dude, you need to get the manager out there. It's time to pull this guy. But if you're the Rockies, there's a reason you're 9-49, 40 games under 500. That is just, how is that possible? Oh my gosh, we've had some bad seasons as Mets fans, right? I mean, unless you were born and alive and aware of the 1962 Mets and that era, the first few years as an expansion team, we've never even seen a team as bad as what the Rockies look like right now. Like, this is just tough time for the Colorado Rockies out there in Denver. Everyday Mets, cement Brett Beatty at third base. Vientos learn the outfield or second base, or get ready to learn Chinese, right? Like that meme goes with Rob Manfred and all the commissioners around the league. Yeah, I mean, Beatty has been awesome. So like I was saying, Pete Alonso ends up striking out. Brett Beatty comes up right after him, hitting in the 5-hole in this lineup, which I really like right now, and just putting the ball out to left center field. You know, not trying to pull. That was what was really hurting Brett Beatty when he's not going well, is when he's trying to be a dead pull hitter. He came up through the minor leagues, came up as a highly regarded high school prospect out of a prep school as an all fields hitter. And that has been the biggest thing for Brett Beatty since he got called back up a little over a month ago now. He is spraying the ball to all fields. He's still pulling some, but he's getting base hits with them. And then he's also still going the other way. He's hit a couple out over the fence there at Citi Field in left field, and he's also gets that triple off the wall today. Doyle obviously didn't take a good route to it. It bounces off the top of the wall, trickles back toward the infield, and Beatty able to get into third with the bases clearing triple. So great to see the Mets just come out and score in bunches today. I said it on the stream last night, if you guys were here watching. I want to see this team just explode for a bunch of runs, especially against a crappy staff like the Rockies. We didn't do it against the White Sox. We didn't do it 2 weeks ago against the Pirates. Both of those staffs are bad. Let's do it against the Rockies, and they finally did it today. 4 runs in the first inning. And what I really love about that inning is that not only does Beatty get the bases clearing triple there, but still a man out there that, hey, let's get him home. It's 3-1. The game's not even close to over yet. It's only the first inning. Jared Young hits that ball on the screws, line drive out to the second baseman. Hang with him. What are you going to do? But then Tyrone Taylor comes up, first pitch swinging, hits a line drive into center field. Doyle makes a diving attempt, doesn't get it, and the Mets add a 4 spot in the first inning. I love that. I love seeing that they didn't just, sit on their hands there and let that runner, aka Beatty at third base, go to waste. They bring him home, put up a nice 4 spot for Kodai Senga and make him feel comfortable in this game. So really, really great there. Let's talk about the rest of the lineup, though. Really, really good day for the Mets lineup, top to bottom for the most part. So Lindor with an amazing day. He has the day start off with a base hit. He draws a walk, and then he gets another base hit later in this one. He finishes 2 for 3 with 2 walks, and all of a sudden his numbers are climbing again. Batting average back up to 283, OPS back up to 839. It's been a really nice couple of days for Francisco Lindor. Brandon Nimmo has been really great lately, and I think it's a product of him hitting in the 2-hole. He is not a cleanup hitter. He could be a 6 hitter, but 2 and 6 are very similar kind of styles in a MLB lineup. I think he's looked great here in the 2-hole. Today goes 2 for 4, scores 2 runs, and of course drives 2 in with that 2-run homer in the 4th inning. So great to see that from Nimmo. Juan Soto has the home run, which is great. I mean, it was a 60-something at-bat drought for Juan Soto between this home run today and his previous one. So really nice to see Juan Soto get that one out over the fence, kind of get the monkey off his back. He also draws a walk in this one. So on base today 2 more times. That's after 2 hits yesterday as well. So hopefully something's coming together there. Batting average, OPS, they're still not great right now, but I've been seeing a lot better swings, more comfort in the batter's box from Juan Soto lately. So really, really happy about that. Pete Alonso ends up 1 for 4, hit one down the line that hit off the tarp. Could have been a double, ends up getting held to a single there. But hey, one a day and keeps the doctor away kind of thing. So happy to see that for Pete Alonso. That was the only hit for Brett Beatty. He does end up going 1 for 4 in this one. But you know what I love? No strikeouts in this one. When Beatty wasn't going well, it seemed like it was a constant 0-2 count for him, constantly punching out. No strikeouts up for him in this one. He does his job in the first inning with that triple, driving in 3 runs for the Mets there. So happy about that performance from him today. Even Jared Young got in on the action with the base knocking 4 at-bats. I told you about the Taylor RBI single. Jeff McNeil had a solo home run. Hey, Jeff McNeil, the guy I was saying, let's cut him. I'm still kind of like okay with that, but Jeff McNeil hits that home run in the 8th inning to add a little padding to the Mets lead. Francisco Alvarez, my goodness, whoa, it has been rough. Yeah, he went 1 for 4. He got a base hit. Very nearly gets thrown out by the right fielder on that base hit that he hit out there. But man, he took a tough strikeout in this one. I think he hit into a double play as well in this one. It has not been going so great for Francisco Alvarez of late. But otherwise, the lineup really had a very nice performance today. 8 runs on 11 hits in this one. They score in bunches in the first, 3 more in the 4th, and then you get the little insurance run from Jeff McNeil in the 8th with that solo shot. So really, really happy to see what we got from the Mets bats today. Now, let's talk the pitching, because for me, that was looking like it was going to be the story. Kodai Senga, I mean, wow, what a performance. Senga gives up that home run to Ezequiel Tovar with 2 outs in the first, and from there just put up zeros. 17 consecutive Rockies retired. So that would be all the way until 1 out in the 7th inning. That is when he finally issued back-to-back walks, and that would spell the end of his day. So otherwise, I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. Like I said, 6 1/3 innings pitched, gives up just 2 hits, 2 walks in this one. He strikes out 7. The season ERA is at 1.60. And I mean, at this point, he and Sean Manaea are looking like co-aces of this rotation if Manaea comes back to form like we saw from him last year. I mean, it has been so fun to watch Kodai Senga, how well he has pitched this year. And, we weren't totally sure what were we going to get out of Kodai Senga this season? Because last year was a total wash. He made one appearance in the regular season, got injured again in that one, and then we saw him in the postseason, and he really wasn't very effective for the Mets down the stretch in October. And we know he's still not totally acclimated to pitching in a major league rotation. He's still used to pitching in the 6-man rotation they utilize in Japan, and yet it looks like he's been doing this his whole life. I mean, he is looking like a total ace for any rotation right now. Leads the National League in ERA now, still ahead of Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Dodgers. So it has been just unbelievable to watch what Kodai Senga has done. Another great performance from him. And when the Mets get that 4-1 lead, you kind of feel like you're coasting when Kodai Senga is on the mound. They add 3 more in the fourth to only basically put it away further. Even when the Mets kind of got into some trouble there in that 7th inning with the back-to-back walks, I wasn't super concerned. He gave up that base hit that brought in another run. And the Mets did end up turning over to Jose Butzo, who was able to get 2 more outs in that inning. Still not the greatest looking Jose Butzo. We've seen better from him, but it's a work in progress. He did allow 2 walks in this one, but he does record 5 outs for this team. He gets the final 2 outs of the 7th, and then 3 more in the 8th inning to clean things up there. So final line on Butzo, 1 2/3 innings pitch. He gives up 2 walks, and he also strikes out a batter. Season ERA is at 3.6. So, he did his job there, clearing out the inherited runners there in the 7th inning. So good job out of Butzo. And then Chris Davinsky didn't even realize that he was recalled to the major league roster, and he ends up getting the Mets through the 9th inning, gives up a hit in that one, also had a punch out himself. Look, all around really solid day for the Mets. You get the great start from Senga. You get a couple of innings with bunches of runs, including from Brett Beatty, who's looking more and more like he wants this everyday third base job. He's looking the best out there defensively. He's clearly swinging the best bat as well right now. You get a home run from Nimmo, who's looking much more comfortable and used to hitting in the 2-hole in this lineup. And you get a home run from Juan Soto as well. So, honestly, it could not have been really more of a perfect day for the Mets than what they did here this afternoon. They take game 2 here with the Rockies, which, like I said yesterday, is exactly what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to beat up on these bottom tier teams like the Rockies. The Rockies, if there was a tier below bottom, they would be probably 5 below that. 9 wins and 49 losses, and it's not even the end of May yet. That is unbelievable. 40 games under 500. So what a performance from the Mets so far here in this series as they take the first 2. And great news, the Phillies get trounced by the Brewers today. I believe the final in that one was like 12-1, as the Mets are now in a tie for first place with the Phillies. So we have clawed our way back. It was looking a little ugly there this time last week when we were down 2.5 games at one point. But you know what? The Phillies did what the Mets are doing right now, and that was beat up on the Rockies. They had a 4-game series with them out in Denver last week. They took all 4 of those. The Mets are doing what they need to do and taking care of business against Colorado themselves right now. And they're just the beneficiaries of the Brewers playing some good baseball right now and taking it to Philadelphia. So the Mets tied in first place in the National League East, and a very good chance that we go into that Los Angeles Dodgers series this week either alone in sole possession of first place or still in a tie with the Phillies heading out to the West Coast. So all great signs there. Lane, what's up? Let's go Mets. When is the Paul Blackburn coming back? So he is supposed to make a start in this series against the Dodgers. It may actually be Monday. So the Mets do plan to go to a 6-man rotation now, at least for a few turns through. And they will continue to keep Tyler McGill in there as Paul Blackburn gets in now. So yeah, they do plan to have Paul Blackburn make a start. I believe it may actually be as soon as Monday against the Dodgers. Let me double check on this. I believe the series does begin on Monday. It does. So I do believe, yes, it will be Paul Blackburn making his season debut for the Mets on Monday against the Dodgers out on the West Coast. So the Mets will be going to that 6-man rotation, which I think is a good thing, at least for the time being. They are consistently trying to keep Kodai Senga on that full 5 days of rest between starts instead of every 4 days like a traditional starting pitcher does in the majors. So this is only a good thing to get some rest for some of these other guys, give them a little more time off as long as it doesn't throw off their schedule and their timing with everything. So I think it's only a good thing to have Paul Blackburn come in and do this. And of course, we know the Mets are going to need to reintegrate Sean Manaea as well. Frankie Montas has not looked so sharp in his rehab starts. So I don't know what the plan is necessarily when those two guys come back. I don't believe that Sean Manaea has actually made any rehab starts yet in his injury, comeback yet. Montas has. He hasn't looked great. So look, there's two more guys after Paul Blackburn still coming back. So the Mets have a lot of questions to answer. I've been a proponent saying this for a little while now that I think it's going to be Tyler McGill that ends up getting pushed to the bullpen. We won't be seeing guys like Chris Davinsky anymore or Genesis Cabrera, who actually signed a deal with the Chicago Cubs. So he is completely off the Mets roster at the moment right now. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this all works out. Paul Blackburn, pretty solid in a few appearances with the Mets last year before he had the injury. He's not a guy that's going to move me a whole ton, but great to have the depth, and we'll just kind of see how it plays out. Eventually, someone, unfortunately, knock on wood, is going to get injured in this rotation. The Mets dealt with it before they even broke camp in spring training with Manaea and Montas going down. So hopefully that is the furthest extent of it, but it's going to happen throughout the rest of the season. Someone's going to go down, hopefully not for a long time. Great to have this depth. So we'll see what happens with that. Lane says the Mets have Clay Holmes pitching on Sunday at 1:40. Yeah, so Holmes is taking the mound tomorrow in the series finale against the Rockies. The Mets will be taking on Carson Palmquist, has really rough numbers. He is a southpaw, and his ERA is up above 8 so far this year over 3 starts. So, I mean, on paper, look, just like I said about today, this should be an easy W for the Mets. They should put the finishing touches on this series sweep against the Rockies. I've been harping on it all week leading up to this series. These are not games that we can take lightly. I said it about the White Sox series too. There's no reason why the Mets should not win all 6 of the games going back to the beginning of the series with the White Sox. Unfortunately, they did drop the finale in that one. I do not want to see a lineup come out tomorrow that is like a punt lineup or like a hope we kind of win, but it's not a big deal if we don't. No, like tomorrow, let's go for the jugular, finish the sweep. They moved to 14 games over 500 with the win today. So the Mets are now 36-22. That is their high watermark for the season. Just keep adding and getting fat against these bad teams like the Rockies, like the White Sox, especially heading into that series with the Dodgers, a 4-game series, by the way, on the road. The Mets will be fortunate to miss Yoshinobu Yamamoto in that series. The Mets will not have to face him, which is obviously a great thing for the Mets. So that is very good news. But take advantage of the game tomorrow. Put the finishing touches on this sweep. And then next weekend, they go back out to Denver and they take on the Rockies again for 3 more and win all 3 of those. Especially because I'm going to be at 2 of those. They better win all 3 of those. But that's getting a little far ahead of ourselves. Everyday Mets, Yanks losing 1-0. Yeah, they're taking on the Dodgers right now. No Mookie Betts in the lineup. Fractured his toe. He stubbed it and has a fractured toe. So Mookie is out of the lineup pretty much this whole weekend. And conveniently, of course, should be returning by Monday is what the Dodgers said they hope for and against the Mets. So looks like the Mets aren't going to get that lucky. But yeah, honestly, man, I really don't buy this Yankees hype train. Like, I know they've been playing great baseball lately. I'm not believing it. I think that they're a good team. They're definitely a playoff team, especially in a super weak American League, and even their own division hasn't been very good. But the Yanks have been playing out of their mind. I think that some of those marginal players on their roster are going to return to the norm in the back of their baseball card. They are not going to go out and just win 100 games. I don't think they're that great of a club. They won 2 out of 3 against us. Their fans ran around like they won the World Series. They barely outplayed the Mets, who were playing their worst baseball at that time. But whatever, they can say what they want. They're delusional people. So it is what it is. 2-0 now. What's going on in that game? I don't even know. Is it Rodon pitching for the Yankees? I think so, right? Because I would imagine it was Fried that got the start yesterday. So I think it's Fried then Rodon for their rotation. I could be wrong about that. RIP Bryce Harper, no retaliation. Phillies got no balls. I didn't see what happened in that one, but I did see that their manager went out and argued a balk and got tossed in that game when they were down 5-0 or something like that. And then it ended up just being a total blowout. I think 12-1. Rhys Hoskins, former Philly, coming back to haunt his old team. I thought Rhys Hoskins only hit bombs against the Mets, but apparently that's not the case, as he gets some payback against his old team in Philadelphia this afternoon. Love to see it. Love to see it when he's doing it against someone other than the Mets. So that's great. James says Canning June 15th. What do you mean, that he's starting on June 15th? That's still like 2 weeks away. So what do you mean here? Let me know. But I mean, a really good win for the Mets today. You know, handily take care of business against the Rockies. Performance from Senga. I mean, you know, that was pretty much expected against the Rockies lineup that, like I said, other than McMahon, other than Tovar, who obviously tagged Senga for that home run in the first inning, really don't have a lot of talent on it. And so this was kind of expected from Senga, but honestly, I think he outdid himself. That final line is almost like injustice to how well he pitched, with the 17 consecutive batters retired from the second inning on, or really from the last out of the first inning on. So, I mean, really great performance from him. The bats come out, they do their thing. They're swinging early. Beatty with the RBI, 3-run bases clearing triple. They add that last run even with 2 outs. So how about that for some 2 outs and runners in scoring position? Tyrone Taylor driving in Beatty after his triple in this one. And then, of course, you get the homers from Brandon Nimmo, Juan Soto, and Jeff McNeil. So great signs all around. The bullpen didn't have to do a lot of work, but 2 guys that are, you know, not the most relied upon people take care of business in Jose Butto and Chris Davinsky making an appearance for the team as well. So what's your big takeaway from this, guys? For me, like I said last night, it's the Mets taking care of business, just like their win song used to be by BTO, taking care of business. That's what you got to do against these bad teams. You cannot let these games go by the wayside. And not come to the park and just think you're going to win because they are 9-49. The Mets clearly came out today with some urgency. Love to see it. Get fat on these bad teams like the Rockies. Take advantage of it. You only get so many games against these lower tier bottom division teams, and so far so good. The Mets take 2 or 3 from Chicago, and now they've taken the first 2 here against the Rockies. I want the jugular. No mercy. Sweep the leg. Take him out. Get the sweep tomorrow against the Rockies. Because, hey, going out to West Coast to take on the Dodgers for 4 after this. Ain't getting easier by any means. James says, clutch and key home run by McNeil today. I mean, you think? 8th inning, they were up 7-2. So I think you might be a little sarcastic. But if you're serious, like, yeah, I mean, it's great to see. Happy to see him do it, you know. But, yeah, it was nice to get a little pad there from the 7-2 lead, make it 8-2 in the Lane says David Peterson on June 15th. I'm confused, guys. What do we mean? What are we talking? June? Like, who's going to make those starts on those days? I don't even know. I can't look that far ahead right now. 2 weeks ahead. I don't even know who the Mets will be playing by that time. James says, answering questions in chat. Who's pitching in the Mets on June 15th? Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and I thought you were being sarcastic when you were talking about McNeil. I'm not a McNeil guy. I haven't been for a while, man. Like, ever since that 2023 season, I was like, there's something ain't right about this guy. Something's not right. And it just given him that extension after the batting title in 2022. But yeah, I mean, really, really great day for the Mets. I'm really happy about how they played. I'm really happy that the Phillies have now lost 3 straight, depending on how they had the doubleheader with the Braves on Thursday, but they've lost the first 2 now of this series here with the Brewers. So the Mets in a tie atop the National League East with the Phillies, reclaiming our rightful spot. And who knows, maybe the Brewers go out, sweep the Phils tomorrow. The Mets take care of business against the Rockies, get a sweep of their own, and we are sitting alone atop the division, sole possession of first place as we head out to LA for that gauntlet of a series with the defending World Series champs. Yeah, you can try to give me a call, Lane. It's not been cooperative, honestly. It's something I've been working on. Discord is really, really not super as intuitive as I thought it would be. You can give it a shot, and if I can figure it out here as we're doing it, then yeah, I'd love to have you be part of the show. But that's definitely what I've been trying to do, and for whatever reason, every time I try getting my headphones plugged in, it does not coordinate the audio. But give it a shot. Otherwise, how about this? I will make that my mission here today after I finish this stream to make sure I have it working by the next time I go live, which will be tomorrow after that. Hopefully, sweep the Rockies. But let me know in the comment section, guys, what is your big takeaway from this game? Let me know. And guys, be sure to leave this stream a like. Really goes a long way toward helping out the channel. I appreciate that. And it's free. So, I mean, why not, right? Come on, give me a little like, right? James, always in the chat, my man. I love James Buckley. He's like loyal follower, commenter. You're the man, James. 30 minutes to game 6. Oh, man, he's talking Knicks. I'm not mentally prepared for that game. I am not mentally prepared for this Knicks game 6. The Pacers drive me nuts. And I think I honestly hate the Indiana Pacers more than any other team in the NBA. There is something about that group of players that just makes me. They have such a smugness to them. Like the Celtics did too, but at least because they were defending NBA champions. But the Pacers have this arrogance, this air about them that is just inexplicable because they haven't won jack. And last year they took out the Knicks in the series after we lost all of our players to injury and acted like they were the roost of the house. Not the case. This Pacers team, man, I really hope the Knicks win tonight. Force a game 7 at MSG. Get it off the chain. Make it lit inside the world's most famous. The Knicks can hopefully pull off the impossible, make this 3-1 comeback and beat the Pacers. I am pumped for that. So Lane, if you want to try, you can go just basically copy and paste, or you'll have to type in the Discord server right down here. So if you type that into a web browser, or if you have the Discord app, that's how you'd be able to call in. And I'll monitor that, see if I'll be able to make it work for us. But yeah, I mean, what a day for the Mets. Really fun to see them come out, get the win. So let's take a look at tomorrow's game as we preview the series finale. Like I said, the Mets will have Clay Holmes on the mound for them. He is 5-3 this year with a 2.98 ERA. He has been great. Last 7 games has pitched 40 2/3 innings and has a 2.66 ERA over 7 starts. So has only gotten better as he has had more time as a starting pitcher. You know, sure how he would transition from being a closer, but it has been nearly flawless for him so far in his Mets tenure. Last time out against the White Sox, 5 2/3, gave up just 4 hits, 1 earned run. And then before that against Boston, 6 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. So has been really good lately. I mean, the roughest start that he's really had this year was against the Pirates in that rainstorm when he ended up giving up 2 2-run homers in that one. That was just tough for him with all that rain coming down and the forecast and everything. That Yanks down 4-0. Oh no. I mean, look, we technically should be rooting for the Yankees because like we don't want the Dodgers to, gain ground on us as far as National League playoff seeding. That's looking super far into the future. But come on, I need the Yankees to be brought down a peg or two, especially because I know how much it will hurt their fans to lose to the Dodgers after the way they got absolutely embarrassed by them in the World Series last year. So they need to be, humbled a little bit right now. So I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm fine with the Dodgers beating the Yankees. Totally fine by me. You know what? Sometimes you want a team to win those big games ahead of a series with you. Because the Mets are going into town right after this Rockies series concludes tomorrow. Or if the Dodgers are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Yankees with all the energy that's going to be in the ballpark this weekend, it could be a little bit of a letdown for them with the Mets coming to town. So especially Monday through Thursday series, not going to be the same as a weekend crowd for the rematch of last year's World Series. So I'm totally okay with the Dodgers doing the Yankees dirty here this week. James facing another bad pitcher tomorrow, Palmquist. Yeah, 8.87 ERA. He is a big lefty. It says 6'3", so I mean he's not like giant, but like big dude for sure. Terrible numbers. ERA is up above 8. It's only over 3 starts, so I mean maybe like he's better than he's actually showing here. He was born in 2000, so he's only 24 years old. Young guy still. I don't know if he was a former top prospect or anything like that. I didn't do enough research on him, but he was drafted out of, Miami. So he's originally from Fort Myers, Florida, and then Miami. I don't know much about Miami as a baseball program, but obviously it's a impressive D1 school. But yeah, it really does not have great numbers at all. Early, again, only 3 starts, small sample size, but we'll see. And so lefty on the mound, that's likely going to mean Mark Vientos in the DH spot. I'm giving Beatty the start. I don't care if it's a lefty. Make Beatty the third baseman. I have said a lot of bad things about Brett Beatty. I will admit that. Totally honest, totally transparent on this channel. If he takes this job and runs away with it, I am all here for it. I don't care who the third baseman is. I don't care. I just want them to be good. I've always sided with Mark Vientos because I thought after last year, he's the real deal. So far, not so much this year. And it's been Beatty who's totally outpacing him in every possible facet of the game. And I am okay with that. So good for Brett Beatty. Let's see what he's got against the left-hander on. I know that he had a couple good at-bats against lefties. He had a base hit against the lefty for the Red Sox, whose name is escaping me right now. Not Cease. Who's the guy on the Red Sox? James, you will know. Come on, help me here. The guy they just traded for from Chicago. And that was his first hit against a lefty this year. And then he also hit a home run later that week against a lefty. So you know what? S or get off the pot, as they say. And if Beatty is truly going to be the third baseman of this team, then he's got to be able to start against lefties as well. So I'm putting Beatty at third base tomorrow. I'm putting Vientos as the DH. Forget about Starling Marte for the day. If you want to get him in the lineup for some reason, then fine. Put him out in left field. He's not going to hurt you that badly defensively. Then you're taking Nimmo out, so I don't think that's the right call. But I'm just saying, Beatty needs to play every day. Garrett Crochet, thank you. Oh my gosh, sometimes all these games run together. Sometimes you forget these. James, since hitting the monster home run against Wheeler, Beatty has been hot as a pistol. Yeah, so that actually came before he got demoted to AAA. So if you remember, he hit that homer in the series finale against Zach Wheeler and the Phillies. But then he got demoted to AAA maybe a week later. And then is when the Mets had Jesse Winker go down, and that was why Beatty got recalled to the big league roster. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Honestly, since he got that homer off of Wheeler, he's been electric. I mean, I think since his recall, they put the numbers up today. It was something like a 315 average, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, OPS just below 1,000. So credit to Brett Beatty. I give it when it's due. Brett Beatty has earned this golf clap here. If I clap any louder, you guys are going to hate it on that side of things, so I won't do it. But Beatty has been awesome, man. It has been a joy to watch. And like I said, I don't care who the third baseman is. Good, I will support them. Beatty has totally earned the right to get everyday starts at third base. So, D-Rels, what's up, man? How you doing? I think you guys are delusional. You haven't seen Beatty stats. He is nowhere near Vientos. Wow, okay. Does anybody want to defend Beatty? Because D-Rels is saying that Vientos should still be the guy. And you know how I feel about this, Rels. Like, I've been a Vientos guy this whole season, coming into spring training, coming out of camp, and saying it's his job. He's the guy. I believe he's a 25 home run guy, and I still do believe it's in there. I do. But right now, you got to play the hot hand, and that's why I'm saying, hey, give it to Beatty for right now, and I keep putting Vientos as the DH while they still have the opportunity to while Winker is out. But please, I'd like to hear from you guys. If you're a Beatty defender, please give me your side of things, because Rels is telling us that he thinks it should be Vientos. I think there's a case for both these. So I want to hear from both sides over here, guys. Two Cats. Yankees are lucky they don't play in the NL. They wouldn't survive the whole 162. Thank you. This is what I've been saying, man. They're not that good of a team. This whole cute little Trent Grisham story, well, guess what? That started to fade. Austin Wells hitting 280 and hitting bombs all over the place. Not so much anymore. Ben Rice, yeah, like, come on. Those guys are falling back to earth. Yes, the Yankees have been winning still, but I'm not believing. I'm not believing in them. Not saying they're not a playoff team, but they're not as good as they were. You know what that saying is, right? You're never as bad as your worst, and you're never as great as your best. That's just how it is right now. The Yankees are playing their best baseball, and they're going to return to the norm. And it was the same with the Mets when they were playing their worst baseball for a little 2-week stretch there. Somehow still managed to basically keep their heads above 500 during that stretch. I kind of go back to that series with the Pirates and then Yankees and with the Red Sox. Then they take 2 out of 3 against, I guess it was Chicago. Again, they're all bleeding together. My point is, you're never as bad as your worst. You're never as great as your best. Yankees have been playing their best baseball lately. They'll have a return to norm. The Mets have been playing some of their worst ball lately. They are now returning to norm as well. And it has come out to 14 games over 500, 36-22, their best mark so far this season. So really, really happy about that. All right, everyday Mets, Beatty, 316. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah, let's go, baby. Dropping biblical verses on us through Beatty. I like it. In Beatty, we trust. I'm with it for right now. James, Tigers look better than the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, here's my thing about AL Central teams. They can't get down with the boogie in the Bronx. Okay? There's something about all these AL Central teams. They're a-holes pucker up whenever they have to go play the Yankees or whenever the Yankees go to their yard. And I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, this is like a study that I've been doing for years now. Tigers, Royals, Guardians, Twins. It doesn't matter who's coming out of the Central. They never can figure out a way to beat the Yankees. So until I see it, I don't know. But I do believe the Tigers are a very good team. Probably, yeah, better than the Yankees. But I got to see them go do it. Because it seems every time the Yankees get matched up with an AL Central team in the playoffs, no problems. They do a cakewalk on. Like, think about it. Last year, the Mets had to go through the Brewers, Phillies, and then the Dodgers in the NLCS. Meanwhile, the Yankees had Royals and the Guardians for the ALCS. The Mets would have cakewalked their way to the World Series last year if that was who they were playing in the play. So, whatever. I think the Yankees are paper tigers. Pun not intended. James Screwball is the real deal, though. He is legit. He is. I've been seeing all kinds of people talking about, I can't wait till he leaves and we can sign him. You know, Mets fans and fans of other teams. I would love to see a guy like that remain with the Tigers, you know, spread the talent around, you know, at least the Tigers are good. It's not like with Paul Skeens where they're totally wasting that guy's prime. I know it's only his second year right now with Pittsburgh, but dude, they didn't invest any money in this team this year. They continue to just trade away stars at rapid pace. So waste of talent there with Skeens in Pittsburgh. Nice to see Screwball getting backed by a really solid Tigers team so far. I'm rooting for them. I got a buddy that's a big Tigers fan, as passionate as we are as Mets fans. They're a good fan base, so I'm all about that for sure. That's really, really cool to see for the Detroit Tigers. Watch out for the Astros. Let's pull up the standings real quick. MLB standings, see where the rest of the league is doing. Like I've said before, guys, I try not to look at the standings at this point in the season. It's too early, but it's okay. I think if we take a look at some of the other standings from different divisions and not hyper focus on the NL East. Although, as I said, the Mets are now tied for first with the Phillies, so let's get it going. All right, let's see. Standings, man, the MLB website is so bad. You got to fix the site. It's just impossible. Okay, here we go. So, Yankees comfortable 6-game lead in the East. They are 14 over 500. And the next closest team are the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays in a tie for second at 30-28. Wow, could you imagine if the Mets ever got that lucky and played in that crappy of a division? By the way, the Blue Jays, 4 wins in a row to get to 30-28. They were 4 games under 500 before this little stretch for them. Clearly, you know, nice little cakewalk for the Yanks. In the Central, wow, Tigers' best record in baseball, 38-21, 17 games over. Indians are not having a good year. Wow, they are 31-26. I mean, so 5 games over 500, not a bad year, but really surprised to see the Twins 6 games over, man. The Twins are the most annoying team in the league, man. I'm telling you, like, something about the Twins. Seemingly always are in the playoff mix, mostly a product of playing in that weak AL Central over the years. But, like, dude, are they really a good? Like, come on. Twins, like, we know what's going to happen. They're going to draw that first round playoff appearance with the Yankees, losing 3, losing whatever, the minimal amount of games, and it'll be rinse and repeat next season for the Minnesota Twins. Oh, yeah. Rangers are 31 and 27, so they are in a virtual tie with the Mariners, who are 30 and 26, the top of the AL West. The Rangers 28 and 31. And how they got on that run and won that World Series 2 years ago, I will never understand. Last year, obviously, they had the World Series hangover, but 28 and 31 this year, just don't look like all that great of a team. Jacob deGrom's back and pitching for them, which is really cool to see, as a Mets fan. But otherwise, man, the Rangers, got the Angels, who had an 8-game winning streak. And how do they follow that up? Well, they've lost 4 of their last 5, and they are 5 games under. I'm surprised the A's are 23 and 36. They look like they were going to kind of be a team to reckon with, and not as far as like a playoff contending team, but as a team that okay, they might win 74 games this year. That's like a building block to 2026, but yikes, 13 games under 500 now. That is tough. Chicago and the Cubs, of course, in the Central are setting the pace out there. Cardinals having a nice little year. It seems like ever since the Cardinals swept that doubleheader with the Mets on that Sunday, they've kind of turned a corner in their season. They are now 8 games over 500, 3 games back of the Cubbies. And the Brewers still always a threat. They're 3 games over now with 6 straight wins for the Brewers. Wow, pretty impressive. Those 4 teams in the National League Central, so the Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, and Reds, all have a plus run differential this season. Cubs clearly the biggest at plus 93, but Cardinals are plus 37. Brewers are plus 15. And then in 4th place, even though they're a game under 500, the Reds are a plus 34 in run differential. So the Central maybe not as weak as we typically think of it as, but this National League is just ridiculous. I mean, my goodness, look at this National League. 3 teams in the West are above 500. 3 teams in the Central above 500, with one of them only a game under. And then in our division in the East, you got the Mets, the Phillies vying for the top spot. The Braves, they're 3 games under at 27 and 30, but they are the Braves. I do believe they'll get back to where they typically are and be an above 500 team by season 10. We'll see if they're in playoff contention or not. They're starting to get healthier and healthier by the day. But wow, the National League and the American League, what a disparity in team talent between those. Crazy, man. Count your blessings, Yankees and American League fans. You guys are lucky to be there. Let's see. James Tigers have 3 starters with ERAs below 3. Astros have 2 starters, only 2 that are any good. Yeah. The Mets have a couple starters with ERAs below 3. I'm just saying. Yeah, the Tigers got good starting pitching. They do, for sure. With Scuball and a couple of those other guys. They're putting it together, man. It's really cool to see. They have come out of the doldrums after a really dark period. It basically went from that era of Miggy and Maglio Ordonez, and you had Curtis Granderson on that team back in 2006, 2007, 2010. They were still competing in the playoffs basically by 2012, 2013 was kind of the end of that, that nucleus there. Miggy obviously continued on for the ride throughout the rest of his career, but they had some dark times out there in Detroit. They really, really did. And it looks like they have come out the other side of the tunnel. It's looking a lot shinier and brighter for them. So good for the Tigers. It doesn't affect me personally unless the Mets are playing them. So good for them. And hey, how about this? Former Met Javi Baez transitioning to center field, and it's all of a sudden he remembered how to hit, looking like MVP of the Chicago Cubs, Javi Baez. So good for Javi doing it as well, finding a little resurrection in his career out there in D-Town. So good for him. Knicks are starting soon, fellas. So this is going to be wrapping up here in a matter of moments as I get mentally ready to watch a Knicks elimination game 6 against the Pacers out there in. It is going to be tough. It could be a bad or it could be a very good night here at the Tony residence. We shall see. But give me a prediction. If you're a Knicks fan, who you got winning? Drop it in the comments section. Be sure to leave this video a like, guys. Like I said, really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat, giving us some things to talk about. Really helps out a long way. Again, an 8-2 win for the Mets to take the first 2 games of this series with the Rockies, just as they should be. This Rockies team is just 9-49, 40 games under 500. Oh, how is that possible? Before May is even over. God, it is rough times for the Colorado Rockies. Let's go, Knicks. Knicks in 7. I'm with it. D-Rels, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Who do you root for if you're a basketball fan? Let me know. Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, we're going to have Clay Holmes on the mound for the Mets. They're taking on Carson, Pomeranz for the Rockies. ERA above 8, 24-year-old kid, made 3 career starts. Obviously haven't gone very well. Carson Palmquist is his name. So yeah, like I said, only 3 career starts to his name. Don't know if he was a former top prospect or anything like that. I haven't dug into the weeds on it or anything like that, but obviously it's been a pretty rough start to his MLB career here. I mean, it's never easy being a starting pitcher when your home park is Coors Field out there in Denver. And obviously that has been the case here with Palmquist as well, but lefty on the mound. So here's what I'll leave you guys with. I want Beatty starting at third tomorrow. I want Vientos at DH. If you want Marte in there, fine, put him in left field, but that means no Nimmo. So decide how you want to do that between Nimmo and between Marte. Obviously, there will be no Jared Young. He's a batter, so we know that right off the bat. But I want to see Beatty continue to get his time at third base. He's been hitting the ball. He's been playing a really clean third base for the team lately, and if he's going to be the guy to take the position, well, then he needs to start against left-handers. There's not going to be this opportunity come playoff time, should the Mets be lucky enough to get that far, where we say, oh, well, he's the starting third baseman, but he can't hit lefties. Like, time to S or get off the pot, as Tony likes to say. So that's how I feel about it. But guys, that is going to do it for this stream. I appreciate everybody contributing here in the chat. Everyday Mets, James Buckley, D-Rels, 2Cats, everyone else, Lane as well. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Always a good time. Gonna go watch my Knicks now. Let's go get it. Go New York. Go New York. Go. Another post-game stream coming at you tomorrow after the Mets and Rockies afternoon, wrapping up that series. Hopefully a series sweep for the New York Mets as they take care of business against one of the worst teams in the history of Major League Baseball, potentially by year end. So that is going to do it, you guys. Appreciate you all tuning in. A nice dub for the Mets here on Saturday afternoon. I am Tony Metro. Until next time, stay true to the orange and blue.